All right, it's that time of year. My voice doesn't feel bad right now, Ryan. Hey, look, Georgia and the Horned Frogs, which I just learned is the Horned Frog a frog?
Is
It
it
is
not?
not. It is not. It is a lizard, apparently. So, hello to our friends over in Fort Worth at TCU. Hey, look, Georgia is a 13-point favorite. Seems like a lot. Um, but you know, I don't know. Just your kind of overall thoughts here as the dogs get ready for this game, Ryan.
Well, if you told me before the season started that it was going to be Georgia in the national championship, I would have told you I agree. But if you would
Well,
have told me TCU,
here we go.
I wouldn't have seen that coming. Look, they're winners, man. They've fought
Yeah.
all year. Their one loss is a really close overtime loss in the Big 12 championship. That was an emotional football game. You could see that from the outside looking in. They've got playmakers for sure. They've got a couple on defense that made a lot of big plays against Michigan, um, and they've got one of probably the three or four best receivers in college football. And then Max Duggan or Duggan. Everyone's pronouncing it differently. I really wish I know what it was for sure.
I thought it was Duggan.
I think it's Duggan as well.
Okay.
He's a playmaker, man. He's a baller, and he can make plays with his legs and with his arm. I'm not. I think George is going to win, and obviously we're going to get into all that over the week. But he is the type of quarterback that can make plays against the Georgia defense.
Well, it's a challenging situation for both teams. I mean, look, TCU they are winners. I think that needs to be sort of acknowledged, whatever you want to call it. But it was the Kentucky game that you and I were at. Well, Ryan was there too. I
Oh,
mean, excuse me,
dude,
Matt was there. Go ahead. Yeah, yeah.
how
So
about that?
Matt, Ryan, and I were up in Lexington, and we got back to Hawassi that night, right? Is that right?
Yeah, dude, we
Late.
chucked along. We
That
were
was when
grinding that out.
SC was playing a tough game. I can't remember who they're playing, Oregon maybe. But that was the game where TCU sprinted on the field, I think at Baylor, and won that game. Look, TCU's not as good as Georgia, but we just saw Ohio State play the best game it's played probably in a couple years. I don't watch Ohio State every single week. That's definitely the best game they played this year. I mean, I know you don't watch TCU a ton. My head basketball coach in college was an assistant at TCU, so sometimes I do watch TCU play. Believe it or not, I have all sorts of idiotic things that I use as an excuse to watch TV, but they win a lot. They win tight games a lot. That league is not a bad league. It's better than the ACC. It's probably better than the Pac-12. The Big 12 is probably the third best league behind SEC and then the Big 10. And they took the Big 10 champion, Ryan, and wore them out. Hey, look, our friends at Red Zone, Ryan's got a shirt on right now too. We
Yeah,
did not
dude.
play it. We did not play in this,
No,
but
I just threw it on today, and I was like, I'm gonna wear that. It's nice to wear around the house.
we actually did not play in that. But look, they're going to have stuff ready. If Georgia beats the Horned Frogs, they will be ready with stuff. I've been told now on Tuesday morning. I just got off the phone with Scott and Mindy. So be ready, y'all. And, we might have a trick up our sleeve too. So make sure you are joining our newsletter. It's right. The link is right down below. We've had what I would call significant growth over the last 48 hours. So we really appreciate that. It's going to be a challenging game for TCU, I think. But Georgia's not seen a quarterback quite like this guy. Stroud is a different type of quarterback, Ryan, and I'll let you take it from there. But Duggan, I mean, I've seen him in person. He's not small, and he makes a lot of plays.
Yeah, he. I don't really want to get into like the talent conversation. Stroud's in a different world than Duggan when it comes to
Yes.
just raw talent, right? Stroud and Bryce Young, they're kind of in their own world as far as the talent for quarterbacks that made it this far. But with Duggan, it's kind of like Johnny Manziel in a way. We're just making plays, and Stetson Bennett in a way. He's a little bit more similar to Stetson Bennett than he is to C.J. Stroud. He's a guy that is not afraid to hit. He will you saw that touchdown run. It was one of their first touchdowns against Michigan. He just shoves his body in there. I mean, he will put his body on line for the game. I think the real quote unquote problem is for Georgia. What you've seen the last few years and you've seen this year, really talented receivers give them a really hard time, and they
Go
have one
go
in
for it.
Quincy
Yeah,
Johnson,
yeah.
Marvin Harrison Jr., Emeka Egbuka. Last year, Jameson Williams and John Mechie in the SEC championship. Keishawn Butte, the LSU receiver in the SEC championship this year, gave them some problems. There's more, but the receivers that end up going on to play in the NFL, Devontae Smith, whoever, they give Georgia lots of problems. As talented as Georgia's secondary has been over the last years, Quinton, is it Johnston or Johnson?
Let me double check.
Number one.
For TCU, right?
For TCU, yeah.
Johnston.
Johnston. Johnston's a different type of receiver, a big receiver, but he destroyed Michigan. All right, he was all over the place making plays. Guy missed a tackle on him, but he took it to the house. So
Right.
they've got
Made him pay. Made him pay.
You can't let these guys beat you consistently. Marvin Harrison Jr. was beating Georgia consistently. Now, that people are mad about the Javon Bullard hit on Marvin Harrison. I didn't think it was targeting. I really don't.
No
I
thinking.
think
It just
was
wasn't targeting.
That play by Javon Bullard is going to be remembered by many because of the drama of it as, oh, they should have called targeting. But that play needs to be remembered as one of the plays in the game. I mean, he goes and saves them from a touchdown. Marvin Harrison Jr., that ball is going to land in bounds, and Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to catch it. And Javon Bullard goes over there and makes that play. You've got to contain the playmakers a little bit more if you're Georgia's defense.
Yeah, I mean, easier said than done.
Yeah,
We're sitting in chairs. We have no pads on. So Georgia's defense has not played as well as you'd like these last two games. Is that a trend? At this stage, it's a trend. But it's a problematic trend. Today, I feel like you have something to say. I'll throw it to you. Kirby said we have to go see the doctor and get things fixed.
Yeah. There's definitely things that need to be fixed. I don't know how many of them are things you just fix by sitting around and watching film and having conversations. There are plays where there are hands on CJ Stroud and you're not taking him down.
Yeah.
Now, Stroud's an athletic guy, but it's different from Anthony Richardson. If you're putting a hand on Anthony Richardson and he escapes you, that's not that shocking to me. With Stroud, he is athletic and can move, and I think he addressed a lot of issues people had with him in this Georgia game, and including myself.
I can tell you
as a prospect.
Yeah.
Oh well, dude,
I don't blame you. I do not blame you.
Yeah. So, if you're getting hands on a guy that you're bigger and stronger than, you got to get him down, and that's the case with these defensive linemen. You got to get home and finish. They're getting home. They're not finishing some of these sacks. And when a quarterback is escaping the pocket and has that much time to throw, I think this is probably a conditioning thing, but sticking with your guy. It feels like, and maybe this is just a football problem, but think about Joe Burrow, the way that he would just escape the pocket and downfield, there would be Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase all of a sudden.
So let's just do some math.
I'm not a coach, so I don't know if what I'm saying is wrong.
Hey, hold on one second. And we're going to keep it here live.
Kirby, bro.
Hello.
Whoa. I'm sorry for the interruption.
No.
Are we keeping this live?
Yeah, right. I'm sorry.
That was a really weird noise, whatever that was.
All right. Can you hear me still?
Yeah, you're good.
We're certainly not editing. We do not have time to edit. Look, when guys scramble, inevitably that means that's more time. So I think, look, they won the game. Either team could have won that game, but they both deserved to win. I want to hear about how Ohio State exclusively deserved to win. But
I think Caleb Williams just threw a touchdown.
But Caleb Williams is rolling in buying time.
He's rolling out.
I mean, I don't know if you're on a delay. I've got it live. He's rolling, and Duggan's going to do stuff to Georgia too. I think the group that's got to keep coming playing, man. Georgia's offense should try to score 50 in this game. I mean, I now look.
Yeah, because TCU can put up 50. They just showed that against a solid defense.
Yeah, Michigan's got a good defense, man, for sure. So, well, with that said, um, what I'm trying to articulate here, this game just won't stop, man.
Oh, here we
It's
go.
just
Here
they
we
don't
go.
believe in
He's not going
defense.
to get there, though.
No, he doesn't get there. I'm a little bit ahead of you, but this might be a precursor to what we're going to see. You know, Georgia's got a better overall, defense than TCU does. I mean, I don't think there's really confusion about that. But um, if you are the dogs, you are more gifted. Um, TCU's defense is on the bottom half in college football, and number 80. They in total, their rush defense is rough. The passing, they're near the bottom quadrant. I mean, you can score on these guys. And what may happen here, Ryan, is Georgia says, hey, we're going to sit on the ball. And your happy ass offense is going to sit on that sideline.
Yeah, I think Georgia's defense is obviously more talented. I kind of agree with you about your target number should be 50 points. We talked
I
about
think
that
in this
target
game,
scoring number
yeah,
last
in
week
this
that
game.
that for Georgia it's around 36, 37, 38. That's what Kirby said a few weeks ago. Um, dude, they put up 62 against Iowa State. I know it's Iowa State, but they have the capability of putting up 60 points. They did it twice this year, 59 against Tarleton, whatever. But if you go look through their year, scoring has not been a problem for TCU.
Yeah, so just real
And
quick. Oh, go
and
ahead.
Georgia's been more vulnerable recently scoring. The last how many times has 30 gotten put up against Kirby Smart the last couple of years? It's happened in the last two games.
So Colorado, so TCU goes 38-13 over Colorado. They beat SMU by 8. Really just drilled Oklahoma 55-24. Survived at Kansas 38-31, a double overtime win over Oklahoma State. That was a 43-40 win over Kansas State, a solid team. They beat them at home 38-28. They beat West Virginia on the road by 10, 41-31. Beat Texas Tech by 10, 34-24. Beat Texas, a decent team, 17-10. Really had to fight their way out of Baylor. There's some stuff there between those two schools, or two religious schools that are in the Big 12, the two privates. So that's kind of a thing. That was the game where they had to run onto the field to kick it and win. It was an amazing moment. They beat them by a point on the last play of the game. Beat Iowa State skulls in 62-14, and then they lost a tough one to Kansas State. These guys can be tough, man. Um,
Hard to beat a good team twice, and that's what happened with Kansas State.
it does. It is hard to do that, but and then they scored 50 against Michigan. In their last few games, they scored 51 against Michigan and 62 against Iowa State. These guys are not nothing offensively. They're good, man. These guys are good. Georgia should win the game.
Yeah, that's
They're good.
it's the it's the same conversation we have with Ohio State.
Yeah, but Ohio,
Ohio
let me
State.
just let me rant
Okay.
for a second. So you're
Okay.
right, but the whole year, you and I and Matt and the guys at Red Zone, everybody knows that that's been a tough one. Okay, for Georgia and Ohio State and Alabama. Bama and Ohio State have been on Georgia's radar for a long time because they were all recruit at the same level and all this stuff. We know that TCU has not. Kirby has the better team. He has the better players. I mean, I'm not going to speak to coaches. My suspicion is they have a better staff. They should win the game. I'm just saying TCU's a bunch of winners. Ryan, go ahead.
Yeah, it's right there in front of them for them to do it
Yeah.
again. I mean, it's right there. I like this matchup. TCU winning the national championship to me was the most shocking scenario out of all of them. And I'd be pretty shocked if they beat Georgia in this game. I do not think it's impossible. I think that
No.
Georgia definitely has been the best team in the country from start to finish to this point. That's how I've felt and seen it since they started pounding Oregon in the first half. They've been the best team in the country. But
But the Horned Frogs are
the
they
Horned Frogs won it, man. How often do they
yeah,
get to this situation? You know what
never.
I mean?
It just
Never.
doesn't
So
happen.
that it's the same thing with them. It's right there. Go take it.
And there's not going to be a lot of situations that were TCU's in a national championship game. And we could talk about this on another video. Hey, listen,
Yeah.
make sure before I do this last spiel, make sure you're signing up for our newsletter. We really appreciate everybody watching, but sign up for the newsletter. uh, Georgia's got to take advantage of this opportunity too, Ryan. I mean, how many times have they played for the national championship lately? Twice. They've only won one of them. So, you want to get past the 67% completion rate on national championship games here soon. Georgia should win it. Therefore, they will. You got to take advantage of what you got. Sign up for the newsletter. Thanks for everybody for watching.